Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for today, Monday, April 22nd. If you are joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. Typically, we do have a recap of yesterday's picks, but since we have not had a video since Friday, we'll be going right into the weather report for today, where I'm just going to take a look at the games for the main slate, any games that could potentially have a weather concern overall. Then after that, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks. It's going to be one pitcher, four hitters. It's going to be based on a combination of past history versus their respective opponent, as well as recent history. And then after that, we'll get moved over to my MLB DFS cheat sheet, which is up on the Sports Affiliation website, so definitely be sure to check that out over there. I'll leave a link down in the comments below, and then I'll be talking through my top GPP teams to stack from that cheat sheet as well. But without further ado, we'll get started with that weather report for today. So in terms of the weather today, we really just only have one game that has a double-digit chance of rain or higher. So we got the Chicago White Sox and Minnesota Twins. This game's over in Minnesota, 20% chance of rain tonight, and the wind is blowing out there as well. So nothing that is a major concern at this point in time. If anything does change throughout the day, we'll leave that as kind of an update down in the comments. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there. So once again, it is going to be one pitcher and four hitters. It's going to be based on a combination of past performance in their respective matchup as well as recent history as well. We're going to start off at the pitcher position with Yusei Kikuchi of the Toronto Blue Jays. He is $9,300, averaging almost 38 fantasy points per game on the season, which is pretty good. He goes against the Kansas City Royals tonight. He has pretty good history versus them in the past, although it is a little bit of limited history. He had two starts versus them last season. He had 36 and 24 points in those respective starts. If you look at what Kikuchi's done so far in the season, he has an ERA just over 2 and 1 win. So pretty good start to the season for him overall. We have 3 starts from him this season that have gotten at least 37 points. So some pretty decent upside to be had there. There was the one lone start versus Tampa Bay, which did not end up being the greatest overall. But definitely do like his upside against the Kansas City Royals tonight. And then we're going to move down to our hitters. We got Ha-Seong Kim of the San Diego Padres here. He's $3,500, inflated price tag for the Coors Field effect, but he is 5 for 9 versus Austin Gomber, the expected starting pitcher for the Colorado Rockies tonight. And Ha-Seong Kim has at least one hit in 8 out of his last 9 starts, although only one of those games have been multi-hit games. So if you see what Ha-Seong Kim has done so far in the season, it's only a 226 average, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, averaging just over 11.5 fantasy points per game on the season. Although the one good thing about him is he does tend to steal some bases. He's got 3 during that 9-game stretch as well as the 2 home runs. So there's some upside there to be had for sure. Mostly based on the history versus Austin Gomber. You know, if we can get a multi-hit game out of Ha-Seong Kim, if we can get a stolen base or 2, could look pretty good for him overall tonight. And then at third base, we're going to go down to Nolan Arenado. He's $3,000 going against the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight as Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. 1 for 3 with 1 home run in his career versus Brandon Pfaadt, which was earlier this season. That is the only home run that Nolan Arenado's hit so far to start the year. He is hitting .291, that 1 home run and 11 RBIs, only averaging 8.4 fantasy points per game, so not the greatest right there. But if you look at what Arenado's done as of late, he's got at least 1 hit in 18 out of his last 20 games, so pretty much most of the season, and 5 of those have been multi-hit games. So there's a little bit of upside there. Hopefully it really pays off versus Brandon Pfaadt once again tonight, but I definitely do like that upside of Nolan Arenado at only a $3,000 price tag overall. Then we're going to move down to our outfield. We're going to start off with Jorge Soler, another guy that is $3,000, another guy that hasn't been off to the greatest start this season, but 2 for 6 in his career versus Jose Quintana. He's got at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 8 starts, and 2 of those have been multi-hit games. If you look at what Soler has done so far in the season, 235 average, 4 home runs, only 6 RBIs though. That's really low, especially with the 4 home runs. Averaging just under 9 fantasy points per game. So not the greatest to start off the year, but at that reduced price tag, definitely like taking a chance on him versus Jose Quintana tonight. And then last but not least, we're going with our other outfielder. It's going to be another St. Louis Cardinal. It's Lars Nootbaar, who's $3,100. Actually done pretty well since he's came back. He has at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 9 games since coming back. I believe they have all been 1-hit games, though. It's a 241 average, 1 home run, 3 RBIs on the season, averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game. The matchup tonight is against Brandon Pfaadt. Once again, he has 1 for 3 with 1 home run versus him, which did come in Lars Nootbaar's first game of the season. Obviously, he did start off the year kind of banged up. I believe it was with an oblique injury. But he's done pretty well since he's been back. I don't mind the price tag at $3,100 and the upside that could be there with him tonight overall. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $13,100 remaining, just under $3,300 per player. So a good amount of money remaining. So whether you want to pay up for a couple of players, pay down on a couple other spots, that's definitely something you can do. Or if you want to go with a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely viable on tonight's slate as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for tonight's slate overall. So once again, my cheat sheet is 100% free. It is up on the Sports Affiliation website. So definitely be sure to check that out over there. Just a good way to kind of see some names as you're building out your lineups. But in terms of the top stacks that we do have for today, we got the San Diego Padres going against Austin Gomber. Some pretty good history versus him in the past. And this game is at Coors Field, so definitely do like the upside that is there overall. We got the St. Louis Cardinals going against Brandon Pfaadt today. He has only faced them once, which was earlier this season, and they did hit him pretty well in that one lone start. And then last but not least, we have the San Francisco Giants going against Jose Quintana. And they have hit him pretty well in the past, whether it's Wilmer Flores, Michael Conforto, Jorge Soler is another one. Nick Ahmed is actually kind of a sneaky one there as well. So a lot of different options out there in terms of stacks today. A lot of different names that you can play in each of those stacks. So definitely get a little bit creative with that as you are building out your lineups tonight overall. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of the weather report, my core picks, and the top GPP stacks for today. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then, as always, if there's any updates that do come out throughout the day, especially like in terms of weather, in terms of like changes in starting pitchers or anything else like that, I'll leave that down in the comments below. And then I will also have as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the early afternoon down there as well. We got another baseball game going on tonight, so probably not going to get to all of them, but I will get to as many as I can, probably up until about 3:30 Central Time or so. And then with that being said, if there's any updates to the core at that point in time, I will leave them down there below as well. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have the MLB DFS Core Pick videos going on Monday through Friday. Typically pretty much every day unless there's that super early start time or like a 2-game slate, something like that. But other than that, we'll be out on a daily basis. And then I also do have my UFL DFS video coming out once a week, typically on Fridays. Might see if I can change it up and get it out a little bit sooner this week overall. And then with that being said, if you are interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you are a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, you make your first deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,500. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. And then with that being said, if you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS tonight.